Aloha from Maui. This is Dr. Ez. Just a little bit of September 13th news. I just been doing an unpacking from New Zealand, the Zenpod. Thanks to Gigi GIlchrist, thank you very much. I unpacked this beautiful Zenpod mini trampoline. You can see what this looks like. Notice the 7 colors of the rainbow that resonate with the 7 musical notes, as well as the what's called chakras in India, the 7 houses in China. It's what scientifically I like to refer as your endocrine glands. They're also the main energy centers in the body, and they produce basically the hormones, which a lot of the energy that our body uses comes from the hormones that are responsible for the different biological processes. They're responsible for every process, all the biological processes that happen in the womb to develop a baby in the womb. So anyway, the brains behind this particular Zenpod is a lot to do with a man named Ian Pettit of Australia. And this particular unit is basically the highest quality mini trampoline from that part of the world. One of the first things I'd like to share with you is some quality notes. There's a really high quality threading for all the legs, and they're really easy to screw on and off. Let's get started here. And just a hand tighten is all you need to do. And another thing I want to point out here is the springs themselves, which have a totally unique design from any springs of any unit that I've ever had. If you notice, they coil in both directions. That's right. They like this one and this one, reverse each other as far as the directions in which they coil. And all the other mini trampolines out there have springs that coil in the same direction. If you also notice how close they come together here, because overall, get a look overall, this unit, it actually follows a bit of a sacred geometry pattern. Excuse me, hand holding the camera today. And the angles of every spring is based on a precise angle for maintaining the sacred geometry. Even the number of springs is precise to maintain an actual sacred geometry pattern. The person who designed this particular unit had a little bit more in mind as far as harmonics of energy and the energizing that happens on a mini trampoline. This particular band that you'll see right here is a grounding band. It has some metallic threading in it. It connects the energy from the mat to the frame and into the earth through the legs. So that's another unique feature of the Zenpod, is the brand name of this unit, Zenpod. So the bounce, the person who designed this designed it for only the health bounce also. And instead of going into high performance with it physically or building a whole lot of endurance physically, it's only for the healing health bounce, which is you don't even let the feet leave the mat. So he likes to cut the legs in half. There's models available where the legs are only half the length. But that's the reason why they make that available, is for people where they're only going to be using it for that. And it doesn't take much to bottom out if you go more than a baby bounce on a unit if their legs are cut in half the height. Anyway, I like the full-length leg. That's just what I prefer. And I like having options to go into a little bit more high performance. But this really has a very unique bounce because it's specifically designed for a type of bounce where there is a very subtle, at the bottom of each bounce, The one-way check valves of the lymph vessels close, and at the top they open, and it pushes fluid a little bit at a time. Deep breathing helps that fluid clear the thoracic duct before it dumps in the subclavian vein and into the bloodstream on both sides of the neck, where the subclavian vein is. That's where that happens. So anyway, just another point that I want to make is one of the first things that I noticed is the quality of the actual material of the spring cover. This is the blue version. There's other colors available, like red or black. But the spring covers on cheap units, that's usually one of the first things that will wear out. If they start getting holes in them, it's one of the things that just makes it look like an eyesore. And this one, I can tell you that the material that they're making this spring cover out of is extremely durable and high quality. I can just, the feel of it, I can tell. The mat is made out of a Permatron. All the units that I recommend have Permatron mats. And this particular unit is New Zealand dollars, 850, and that doesn't include shipping and tax. When you do a United States dollar, USD, today it's about $567 for is what that translates into. Again, that doesn't include the cost of shipping. I happen to have this particular unit here in Maui. It is for sale. I just unpacked it out of the box just today. And interestingly, about today, it's September 13th. You know, 16 years ago today, my father died. A lot of things have happened evidently on September 13th. The woman who sent this to me, she's helped basically save the legacy of this particular design so that it's still available today. And manufacturing it at, I think, the highest quality it's ever had in its history of manufacturing. So she helped maintain it. Otherwise, it may have been something that we've just lost that wouldn't even be available today. So anyway, thanks to her, 41 years ago, she was hit by a fairly large truck on a motorcycle in an intersection where she basically died in the ambulance. And she ended up being in a coma. She came back. She was in a coma for a few days before she came back to consciousness. She had a lot of injuries through that, but the Mini-Trampoline is one of the things that's helped her heal many of the injuries that she's sustained. I know one thing, that it helps magnify thought wave. It helps send energy not just throughout the whole system, but up into the head. It's helped increase memorization ability. You know, it's one of the things that Tony Robbins has used before he ever gets on stage to get focused. My father was one of the pioneers that discovered how bouncing magnifies the thought wave. It's more important what we're thinking than what we're even doing. It's what we're thinking. And if you'd like to know what to think, I do a whole class on it, what to think and do, called Race for the Truth. You can find out about that at my website, ZeroDisease.com. It has a links page. That events.ZeroDisease.com is a direct way to get there, maybe a faster way to get there for some of you. So, I just want to throw that out there. And this particular unit is available. It's kind of a first come, first serve thing. I don't think I'm going to have it for more than about a week. I'm going to do another Race for the Truth class here. I want to do a live training on it, and it'll be gone by the time that training's done, most likely. So I will be making these available, though, for anybody who wants one. Just know that the cost of shipping is a bit higher outside of that part of the world. It's one of the reasons why it's the most popular unit there is because it's the highest quality, and the shipping is reasonable for the New Zealand and Australians to have access to it. And it's just you're going to be paying more shipping to get it to other parts of the world. Just know that. You can ask me, feel free to inquire about that. So, with that, this, again, it's a really good looking unit. It has some, again, unique features. The rainbow strip around the edge really adds a safety where you can see the edge of the mat a little more clearly than if it's just black. Some people like that. I don't particularly need it for that reason. Again, the person who designed it had harmonics and understandings of energy in mind, and subtle energy in mind. That the principles that are all really do work together with what's called the health bounce, that baby bounce. That's really the best bounce for healing, is especially people who are needing to use it just for healing, recovering from injuries, or if they have any illnesses. It activates lymphatics very well, and we know that when we go into a bigger bounce, still less impact, still the springs are doing more work. So we're able to actually do a marathon. I like to show people how to use it, how to break out of that if you're not just needing it for healing, if you want to build endurance, if you want to have greater levels of physique, then we can turn it into a high-performance fitness machine. Okay, and there are different units that do different things. This is just, I have multiple units that I like to have access to for different purposes. There's different bounces for different purposes. So, yeah, with that, I want to thank again Gigi GIlchrist in New Zealand of Zenpod, and want to thank Ian Pettit for what he's done over the years to, I don't know anyone else in the world whose only focus, their really focus of their life was to perfect just the health bounce and teach people as much as they could and design a unit that's built really around just that. So again, a lot of great things to share. It's been a pleasure sharing this unboxing, the unveiling of what I got today on a special day for me, for someone who I think I'm one of the strongest advocates of this type of activity. There's a new 2019 film called Go Rebound, which I'm featured in. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Check that out also. Go Rebound. So, yeah, a lot to share. But this has been a pleasure. You have a wonderful evening. Till next time.